Finish him! Get over here!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This is going to be tier list for survivors. Okay, so I'm gonna give the tier list my opinion for survivors, but I'll also give you the builds. They're the best for each of them inside this tier list that I'm mentioning. Explain the whys, and I'll try to be quick, because I don't want to make this video way too long. So firstly, let me just mention that, as you can see here, like I have all the chests in the game, and I have like more than 1,000,000 points there from just playing. So I've been playing the game since the beta as well, so I do have like quite a bit of experience. So my opinion is backed up behind that experience. Okay, so and keep in mind the tier list that I'm going to be doing is based on facing the best masterminds. Okay, so obviously if you're facing a bad mastermind, like you could play the worst character in my tier list, and it will feel like he's the best. Okay, so this is not my point here. My point is to give you the best tier list, to play against the best masterminds. Okay, so you pretty much win every single time if he's the best or the worst. So going against masterminds, like my masterminds are all like, as you can see, like all level 130 and higher pretty much. So I do have a lot of experience as mastermind as well. And as survivors, you can see everyone here is pretty much 60 or higher. So let's start with I'll make this different. Let's start from the top down. Okay, so the top one the top one survivor in the game is going to be Valerie. Okay, she's as most meta as it gets in terms of survivor. So like if you wanna have the best team, you need to have a Valerie. Okay, by the way, I'm not going to give you the tier list. I'm actually going to give you the best team as well. Okay, so the best, what is the best 4 survivors you can select to win against any mastermind. Okay, so this would be it. Val would definitely be the top 1 survivor in the game. And personally, I mean, I'm considering, by the way, this build that I'm actually going to show you guys, I'm considering that you're playing in a squad. Okay, so you guys are communicating and everything, so everyone is kind of playing your own role. Not that you're playing solo and you have no idea what the other people are doing. Okay, but I'll give you like just a few tips here in case you are playing solo. So this is the best build that I would say so far, at least for today that I've covered. She pretty much is going to be more of a resource type of character, as you can see. So with these two, the Smart March and Pharmacy, the zombies drop a lot of herbs, so this helps you and your team when you're killing them. And the Lucky Charms, really just so you get the resources for your entire team as well. Like, yeah, as long as Valerie picks up the credits, she's gonna get, like with this build right here, you can get like upwards of, like even on area 1, like you can get some 60 pickup type of, almost 70 type of pickups for credits. It's quite insane. And obviously that helps your team insanely because your resources just go through the roof because of all of this. Now in terms of the skills, this is the best one, obviously, Remedy, so you can get rid of infection. That she puts on the ground. You can even heal yourself with this. It's really good, like when you go down. As far as the scanning, creatures is the best one. Okay, again, I'm just gonna kind of try to go fast over this because I don't want to make this too long, because I would want to give you guys good information on all survivors. So creatures are the best one for the scanning. This is the vaccine is the best one. Okay, it's the most meta because of Alex. So it kind of helps to counter her infection builds. So that's why it's better than using the yellow boost. Yellow boost would be second, okay? But in terms of meta and kind of winning the best possible, vaccine would be it, okay? It's gonna make a much more difference than yellow boost if you're playing an Alex, for example. Which again, these builds that I'm showing you is for winning like every single match, okay? So you're kind of going ready for every single mastermind here with a single build. This one I like surplus. Some people like to use nullify if you're facing like a trap Alex, but that's really rare, and I don't think you really need it. So I mean, it does help if you're playing an Alex, but it is so like specifically, I don't like that so much. I like to have more, because you never know who you're going to face, right? So I like to just have a more overall build that covers for everyone, which in this case is surplus. Like you get flash management creatures, that's useful against anything, any mastermind. So that's why I have it there. But you could try using nullify if you feel like not having flashbangs for whatever reason, and you just want to counter an Alex trap build better. Okay. I've already covered the equipment. Now, if you're playing solo, for example, and you don't have communication, I would probably use something like this. You can try as well, which is the camera here, the MPs, and the spray. The spray is pretty overpowered, as everyone knows, the best equipment a survivor can have. However, since I'm going to show you the other builds, I don't think it's necessary in this case. But if you wanted to run on your build, you can definitely use this. The EMP, if you have level 2 like I have here with the shotgun, you can destroy the camera up to area 2. With the MP2 here, you can destroy the camera with 3 shots only with the shotgun, which is, if you think about it, it's pretty fast. It's almost as fast as Jan destroys his camera. So especially if you don't have a Jan on your team, you can just throw this on, the MP2, and you'll be able to kind of cover your team, especially with the shotgun. It's pretty easy to destroy the cameras with this, okay? So you can kind of help out on the cameras, especially if you're facing Nikolai. So for example, this would be a more overall build, you know? This would cover for every single mastermind. You know, if you play creatures, you're going to be using these two a lot. Like if you play Daniel or Nats, you know, Alex, a vaccine, like I mentioned, cover Alex. This is covers if you play Nikolai, you're going to have the MP to help you out. And the spray is pretty much for everyone. Because, you know, when people go down. However, you do have your spray, like right here, obviously you can use your fever skill. So most of the time I do give the sprays to my teammates instead. So they can heal me when I go down. Because if Val goes down, there's really no spray to heal anyone, you know? But considering you're playing in a squad, I would say this is probably the build that I like the most is this one. This one with the lucky charm. So you're gonna see, just try this build out and pick up the money. You're gonna see you get like a lot more money available to you, like pretty much all the areas. It makes a big difference for you and your entire team, okay? So because when you do pick up, the bonus also goes for your team, okay? But it has to be Valerie because she's the one using this equipment for increasement. Okay, so that covers it. She's number 1. You have to have a Valerie. Every game is pretty much so much harder if you don't have a Valerie, so you need to have her. Now, funny enough, you can see that the order here is pretty in line with what I'm telling you. But top 2 would be Jan. Jan is the second best character. She's a more tactical character, but she's definitely needed. Because especially if you play like a Nikolai or something, like you just have to have a Jan, okay? A Trap Alex, you know, they're just pretty much all the builds she can be useful against. Spencer, Terminal Spencer, something like that. At Jan makes a huge difference for the team. So as far as the best skill, I think is interference. Because this gives him a 50 seconds where he pretty much cannot do anything because the card is so expensive. There's kind of no counter whatsoever. Some people like to use the ES lockdown, but that's very specific. Again, like a Daniel, this would be great, but you never know if you're going to play Daniel or not. So this kind of works against every single mastermind very insanely well. So that's why I think it's the best one. As far as her personal skill, definitely the instant. Okay, there's no even discussion here. The instant is the best one. You can also play that threat game where you kind of fake destroying the camera, and the mastermind leaves, but you actually don't waste your power because you can cancel this. Like lockdown, for example, you cannot cancel it. You know, once you start, you already wasted your power. This one only takes your power away and puts it on recovery when you actually use it to like the full charge to destroy the camera. So it's really good. There's a lot of mind games you can do with that. Now this is kind of is either anti-armament here or high caliber. I personally like to use high caliber because it's more versatile. You know, it helps again. You can two-shot the cameras with this. Okay, with the high caliber here. It helps a lot more with the pretty much every mastermind you can imagine. Even a Daniel, I'll be able to destroy the camera very easily. You know, if he doesn't have a gun on it. However, for Nikolai, obviously the anti-armor is going to be better, but you know it's just more specific. So I tend to use more the high caliber. And you can still, because this is going to destroy them with the weapon, the gun, the cameras with weapons in one single shot with the Raiden. So it's really good for getting time as well, not just destroying the camera, because he has no reaction because it's only one shot, so you're getting 20 seconds. It's really good for the team. However, when he does not have a camera, then you're kind of weak in destroying the cameras, you know? When he doesn't have a gun, I mean. So this is kind of the opposite. It's good, it's strong every single match, every single mastermind. It has a gun or not, you're going to destroy it always at the same speed, okay? So that's why I kind of like to use this, because it's a little bit more overall. And if you try to use the Raiden, it's still going to be 2 shots. So what I do is I do shoot the Raiden once, and then I switch to my secondary, and I finish with the secondary. And if you do that, it destroys pretty much just as fast as just one-shotting with the anti-armament, okay? So it's not that slow. Because if you're using just the Raiden and you're shooting like 1 and 2, it's going to take too long. But if you do that little switch that I mentioned with the guns, it goes pretty much just as fast, okay? So that's why I use it there. And we're going to use pharmacy here, okay? The second best option would be discount, but the build that I'm going to show you is why pharmacy works better, okay? So it makes all the sprays there. Remember what I said, the sprays are pretty much the most OP thing. Now you're going to be using MB rounds here. Now if you're using anti-armament with the Raiden, you actually only need EMP2, and you'll be able to one-shot the cameras unless he's using actual durability. But just EMP2 here with the anti-armament would already be enough to one-shot the cameras with the Raiden, okay? If they have a gun on it. But I personally like to use both, because again, especially with this guy right here, the high caliber, so I can destroy it with 2 shots. Like 2 shots, I mean like a shotgun, for example. 1, 2 is gone. You know, Matilda would be maybe like 3 bursts, which is not too much. And you know, the Raiden would be 2 shots, mostly 2 shots for everything. Now we're using decoder here too, as you can see, so it decreases the price, and we're gonna use the wallet. So these two combined allow you to pretty much every single area in the match, like area 1, area 2, you always be able to buy a weapon, including the Raiden on area 2. You always have enough money to buy a weapon and to buy a spray. Okay, so that's the reason why I have these two, because on area 2 and area 1 you can buy sprays. So that's why I mentioned, like for example, my Val, I don't have a spray on her because, again, remember, I'm considering here you guys are playing in a squad together, so the builds kind of complement each other. So here, because of her, the team will already have a spray, you know, as soon as the game begins, because she can buy it. So I don't need to put on Valerie because she already gonna have one. And you can also find one spray. Every area of the map has a single spray. Okay, so area 1 has a spray, area 2 has a spray that you can pick up for no price. You know, it's kind of scattered around the map. So moving on, you know, but Jan's really good against Nikolai, for example. Okay, Valerie against everyone. She's not like super useful. She's still useful because she can get the sprays and everything, like I mentioned here. So she can with the discount buy stuff for her team. You know, she can still help out with the other masterminds that are not too camera focused. So she's definitely top 2. Tyrone is top 3. Okay, in terms of characters, like these two are pretty much a must. And when it comes to top 3, it's Tyrone for the best. Not just in the game, but also like as a squad together. Okay, it would be Tyrone. So it'd be Val, Jan, and Tyrone. Now, as far as the fever skill, we have the rapid response. Like some people like to use this one, which safeguard reduces the damage. I don't think it's that necessary because rapid response already reduces the damage as well. Obviously, it's not going to be as much as safeguard, but it's still enough that you're kind of not going to be feeling the damage as much, you know. And not just that, but you also get the speed, so you can use this to kind of move around the map, which is very meta because the game is all about time. So having a faster movement helps you. And not just that, but if you're fast, it's also very easy to avoid the buy weapon, you know, because you're moving way faster than the buy weapon is. So it kind of, just by having the speed, it's kind of also like having a defense in itself, you know, besides just lowering the damage. So this kind of gives you both. You're gonna reduce your damage noticeably, and it's still going to give you the speed. So this is way better, I think, in my opinion, out of the 3 variations here. Now, as far as the personal, definitely gotta go with the barge. There's no question here because you might face Spencers and things like that with Lars level 3, so you need to be able to destroy those fast. Now moving on, when it comes to the firefighter here, this is kind of depends on what you're gonna use. So I'm gonna show you a few options here. There's a first responder, so it helps you your teammates faster, especially this combining with Val. It makes it pretty much impossible for the Mastermind to down you because either her or Tyrone are going to be kind of picking everyone up. So it's really hard for the Mastermind to build pressure up down you, which obviously is a very good thing. Especially if you're playing like a Nikolai or something that has a lot of damage, downs people, you know. Maybe you get Daniel with Mr. Rex and he downs a lot of people. You can use this to get people up, okay? Some people like to use turnout gear as well here, or I personally like to use breach and clear because it counters the trap build for Alex, the insta trap build. She likes to put traps behind the door, so as you open it, it blows up in your face instantly. So these two counter that build a lot. You know, so some people like to use that. It's an option. I'll just say it's an option, but again, it's kind of very niche, very focused on Alex specifically. So I personally like to use first responder because it kind of helps with everyone. The second option, you could try using weapon handling, and the reason for that is mostly focused on Daniel, as you're going to see here with my equipment. But I don't think you actually need it, okay? Because you know, especially if you're playing a squad, Val, like I mentioned, has the build for more resources. You have enough resources that you won't really need this reduction on the durability. You can just buy repair kits, okay? So for that reason, I prefer first responder. As far as the last skill here, I have elusive is by far the best one here. Because you know, you cannot be grabbed, so it allows you to rush. Combining this with the door here, you can pretty much go inside and out of rooms without taking damage unless he has a gun, pretty much. So it's pretty strong. Even if he's controlling the creature, he cannot grab you. It's pretty strong, pretty stupid. So yeah, for that reason, it helps a lot with the rushing. So really good. So that's the skills. And as far as equipment, Tyrone is the best guy for doing USBs. Okay, so area 2. So that's why we have the Batoon here. I personally believe you only need 2, okay? Some people like to use 3. Like, they will use this as well, like this USB drive too. I think that's way too much. Like, it's already efficient enough to have just 2, in my opinion. So I just like to use 2, but some people like to use 3, okay? Just an option. With 3, it takes pretty much only 1 second and you do the terminal. But I just think that's kind of overkill. It's better to have another more useful equipment here. So I have 2, and he's the one that does terminals on area 2. For the map reason, it also works on the tubes on area 3, the course. Now this thing right here, the reason for this is specifically to counter Daniel. So that's why I have it on the build here. So in case we do end up against a Daniel, I can use this to use the Kashima, because I don't know if you know, the Kashima depletes a lot. So by having this, it allows my Kashima to last longer. You could also combo this, like I mentioned, with the weapon handling, and then you pretty much have infinite Kashima. But like I said, it's really not necessary, because you only need to hit the zombie once. So and besides the resources that Val's going to be giving you, it's pretty easy to last. Okay, just with 1 here. So that's right here is for Daniel. Okay, and this right here is the combo with the first responder. So you're reviving people almost as fast as a spray without actually having one. Okay. Now the variations you could try if you wanted to is really, like I mentioned, the same thing with the Val. You could try using the EMP here. So in case you get a Nikolai, you could go, get the shotgun and whatnot, and it would help your team a lot with destroying the cameras. Or you can also put a spray here instead of the first responder if you wanted to. So that's a few options. I personally believe these options would work together, because you can see, if we get Nikolai, for example, Jan has the build here perfectly to counter him. He has the healing and everything, so Nikolai will be taken care of. If we get Daniel, he alone takes care of Daniel. He has the kick, he has the doors. If we get Spencer, he covers it as well. So you see, the builds, pretty much everything complements each other. Val has the healing as well as the resources. So regardless what Mastermind we get, we're gonna have a lot of resources. So combining, as you can see here, the meta team, combining these 3 already pretty much covers every single build, the strongest Masterminds build in the game. And finally, top 4, which again is funny because it's kind of in order, but Samuel would be the top 4 character. Okay, so the best team you can run is Valerie, January, Tyrone, and Samuel. Okay, that's the best build. That's the best team in the game. If you want to win, that's what you want to use, and you want to play kind of the builds that I'm showing here as well. Samuel, now everyone kind of plays his own function. Valerie's kind of the support type of character. January and Tyrone is almost also quite support here, but they're more kind of tactical, like she covers the cameras, he covers the objectives, he stuns the creatures, you know what I mean? They're kind of more tactical. Valerie's the 100% support, and Samuel is the damage guy. Okay, so the 4th guy is kind of a damage guy. He just destroys the course very insanely fast for area 3, as well as destroying pretty much any creature that stands in his way, including the bi-weapons, because as you're going to see here with his build, he can play guns as well as melee. So he's pretty much a damage all around for everything, including guns. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so that's why he's number 4. So if you play like a net or something that has a lot of creatures, he's just gonna annihilate them. Okay, any creature, anything standing a core, he's gonna annihilate everything. Okay, and he's the only thing that would be kind of bad is if a camera like Nikolai. But even then, you could try what I'm gonna show you here to kind of make that a little better. So there's 2 options here. You can use Brutal Force or Immortal. If you want to be more safe, I would use Immortal. But I personally like to use Brute Force, so we just get that even higher damage. As far as the dash button, again, I like to get that higher damage, so I like to use Relentless. You could try using Recovery to be a little more safe. But I personally like to use, I don't think this is kind of that word for it, Speed Reloader. I might as well go with the Relentless, okay? And the reason for that is you're going to see, because we're using the Limit Break here, so the lower his health, the more damage he does, as well as the Recovery here for this guy right here. Which using the power itself, the fever skill is really strong. Okay, if you combine this guy, the low health with the fever skill, he's really strong. It's pretty much stronger than a weapon itself, like the sledgehammer. So, but just by using the power faster, because it's recovering faster due to your health, you're also saving a lot of resources from the repair kits. Okay, so this is also good for that. Now, obviously, it's kind of risky to be running around on danger, for example. So having Immortal, like if you go in a crowded area, you could just pop Immortal. You're probably gonna take a few hits, but because you're recovering while you're taking the hits, while in danger mode, you're not gonna go down. Okay, so that's the idea. If you want it to be a little more safe, I personally just go with the damage, so we can really just destroy everything. And as far as that the equipment is, you can see just pretty much damage here, increased damage, critical hit chance. This is damage along with critical hit chance, and again increases the critical hit chance. So like when you get a critical with this, it can be as high, especially with the limit break, especially on the cores, you can get like 4,000 higher than that if you have a yellow herb, things like that. So it's pretty crazy. You're gonna annihilate the creatures with this build when you're kind of low on health. If you're on like a danger and on the yellow state, you're pretty much gonna annihilate everything in front of you. Okay. And the damage also works for guns. Okay. So in this case, I'm focusing more on the melee, as you can see here, because I have iron nails. But you could totally focus this on gun as well, like use FMJ here, for example. And if you wanted to, make it not as damage but more versatile, you could try using again the EMPs right here. You could try using the sprays. That would make it a little more versatile while taking a little bit away from the damage. The damage will still be pretty high. Just this alone already makes the damage pretty high. Okay. But yeah, I just personally go full damage because again, like Jen is already buying sprays. Val has this team. Tyrone healing everyone. So I don't think sprays here for a team like this would really be that necessary. There's also the sprays that you're getting from the map itself, So I'll just focus on the damage here. And USBs here, Tyrone is already covering it. So this would be the best team in the game. Val, Jen, Tyrone, Samuel. Okay. Now coming to the second best here, I would say top 5, right? We're on 5. It would probably be Becca or Jill. Okay. They are just kind of a worse version of Samuel, I guess. Because Samuel is, like I mentioned, so versatile. He can have the damage for guns, for everything. He has faster movement speed with a dash. He has like everything. They're kind of the same idea. They're kind of damage characters, but they're just not as good as he does. Okay. Like Becca has a high damage as well, but she has a crouch. He has to go through. She's a lot slower than Samuel is. So that's why, and less versatile because she's pretty much gun only. So that's why Samuel is the best. Okay. But I'll probably put Becca. It's really hard here. I'll probably say it's kind of a draw, okay? But I guess for me, I would just put Becca first before Jill, okay? Because Jill is pretty much, her damage is only really that good when she dashes for the most part. Not Becca. She just a crouch. She has all the high damage pretty much active all the time. She doesn't rely on dashing to get that damage. So that's why I think I would put her a little higher than Jill. She can also easily kill the bioweapons Becca as well. So that's why Jill can also do that, but not with the same ease, I would say. So that shot is the best one here because it increases the critical rate. So obviously your damage, you're gonna be doing while this is active, you're gonna be essentially just getting the highest damage possible. That's what it does. This is especially good for killing the bioweapons. Like if you stun the bioweapon and pop this and start shooting his head, you're like by yourself. I'm not even joking. She's gonna down by herself the bioweapon, Becca alone, without even considering the others. Like if it's a Nemesis, a Mr. X is pretty crazy. Like you're getting upwards of higher than 1,000, 2,000 damage on the bioweapons. It's pretty crazy. And that's per shot, and you have like infinite bullets, and you're just shooting constantly. Like with a shotgun, for example, it's pretty crazy. The Sentry Stance, the Swift is the best one. Okay, not even gonna mention that. This is what I like to use. Focus aim. Greatly increase the chance of critical hits when the reticle is fully focused. Which combos with this, like, because as soon as you go, you crouch, it focuses immediately. So it's a lot faster than not crouching in terms of focusing the aim. And as far as I like to use conservation, kind of just saves me a little bit of ammo for the shotgun. But you could try using this thing for getting more ammo if you wanted to on the headshots. But I personally use this. This is kind of everything that I mentioned is kind of needed, and this is the build that I personally like to use. Now, because of this thing right here, the focus aim, even by only having the dog tags here, you're already going to be creating enough. Okay. If you're using the Raiden or the quick draw, the weapons for her are a Raiden, quick draw, and the shotgun. Those 3. Don't even worry about the other ones. You could try replacing the Raiden for the Lightning Hawk, but I don't think that's really worth it because the Raiden does the same thing without wasting resources, so why would you even bother with the Lightning Hawk, So we have the FMJ rounds here, as you can see, 3, hollow points 3, so increases that critical that we're going to be getting, and again, increases the critical again. Some people like to use this guy right here, long barrel. I personally felt with testing that it is not necessary. Like because of this alone, you're already creating enough, okay? So you don't really need to have the long barrel there. Just make sure you're focusing your aim if you're using like the quick draw, for example. And with a build like this, you can one-shot the zombies with the Raiden, even if you don't hit the head, okay? So it's that crazy. Because if you get a critical on the body, it does like more than 2,000 with this thing right here, this build with the Raiden. So you pretty much can kill the creatures without even headshotting them. So it's insanely good. However, the Raiden is kind of slow, so because you're pretty much gonna 5 seconds kill one creature every time, but 5 seconds is kind of long. So if you want to, there's a lot of them together. You kind of want to be a little faster. You can crouch and use the quick draw, for example, and a headshot will do like upwards of 1,900 damage with this build right here. So it's again, you're pretty much one-shotting every creature with the quick draw by headshot. It's like boom, 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 and just dropping one by one. But again, just make sure your reticle is focused. And finally, like I mentioned, the shotgun is also pretty strong with this build. You can just, if you aim at the head, you can one-shot the creatures as well, even if you're not crouched with the shotgun. You just go by them, aim at the head, boom, they're dead. Kind of like that. And the quick draw and the shotgun would be the best ones to combo with this power right here, okay? The shotgun specifically especially to counter to kill the bioweapons, okay? With the dead shot. So that's what I would kind of run a combo with the Raiden. I would have two weapons, the Raiden and the shotgun, and I would just switch depending on the situation that I'm kind of going on the map. So that's Becca, again, heavy damage character, same like Samuel, but a little worse. And I would just put Jill after her. Jill is kind of more versatile. She can play speed. I did videos on all of them, okay? They're individual meta builds, so to speak, but that video was kind of more individual. This is more in a overall tier list, and you know, comboing them together with the best squad, you know, considering you're playing together and communicating. But Jill would be the next one. And again, I like to play her damage. The fourth guy, besides these three, he's kind of like the objective guy. You know, she's kind of the camera guy. She's the healing support guy. So, and you need a damage guy, okay, to kill everyone. So that's when you kind of switch between Samuel, Becca, and Jill. So that's those why they're the best ones. Now, Jill, I would say, is the second worst. You know, again, some people are probably gonna disagree with me. It's fine. I think they're kind of pretty much both the same level, Becca and Jill. I personally would prefer going Becca over Jill. That's just me. We have the Samurai Edge, the Alpha team to increase the damage as you and the critical hits as you dash. Because again, we're playing damage here. Now this is kind of up to you. Like I mentioned, like you don't need Master Key because Tyrone already gonna cover that if you're in a team with him. Breakaway not even that needed, and medic as well. That, like I mentioned, it showed you the Tyrone build. It already covers this part, so you don't need this on her. You can just focus on the camera, especially if you don't have a Jan on the team. Having this on counter surveillance, she can be kind of the Jan of the team, if you know what I mean. So counter surveillance, I'll say, is the best option here. And again, especially considering to counter a build like Alex, for example. Finally, we have Marksman here, so you increase the damage when your reticles focus. Especially using with the Samurai Edge, this combo here with does an insane amount of damage. You can pretty easily kill the bioweapons as well, just like Becca can. But it's just, I don't think it's just as good because Becca doesn't require as much accuracy she does. Okay, she's kind of one shot, like boom boom. Becca, you're just kind of spamming, so it's more noob friendly, so to speak. So that's why I think it's a little better. And Becca doesn't need this dash, okay, ready to have the high damage. She can just do it at any time. And as you can see here, it's pretty much the same idea with Becca, FMJ, Hollow Points, and Doctor. It's just to get the damage. Some people like to use the rocket launcher variation here. It's fine as well. It's pretty good to counter by weapons and everything. It's up to you. Some people like to use that. It's either damage, the rocket launcher variation, or Ju can play Wispy as well, like I showed on my when I did the personal build for her as meta. But again, right here, considering your guys are playing together, so that she wouldn't need that because Tyrone is already playing that role on your team. Since you're going to be selecting these three, okay? So I'll just go with damage, so she can be the fourth guy that's the damage character on the meta, okay? And finally, Martin would be the last. He's kind of like a Tyrone. He can play, but worst. he plays the USB as well, and I like to put him as a little bit of resources as well. And like if you don't have a Tyrone, I would probably like go with the Martin instead. And just like Tyrone, he can kind of stun the creatures pretty easily because of his powers. I have a Smart Watcher just to help a little bit with the resources, again, the dropping of the herbs. And the Iron Sheet here is the same idea with the Tyrone, and the Kashima is most of a counter to Daniel in case you happen to get him. And with the Reinforce as well, he's going to make the Kashima a lot more durable combining with this. Okay, so that's what I use with him. I like to use Rapid Cooldown here, the Flash Platoon. Some people swear by the... Oh wait, it's not here. So yeah, I would just like to use the Flash Platoon. It's the one that debuffs them, but people like to use it. It's not here. As far as camera, the traps, I would say it's pretty much the Flame or the Signal. I like to use the Signal Jammer because it's more specific to like that trap build and ambush build for Annette, trap build for Alex. These counters them a lot. Spencer also has a trap build that I made a video on, so these are really good to counter. So even though it's very niche, like Spencer also has like I mentioned it's the trap build. So even though it's very niche, it counters ambush and that as well. I like to use this because like even though it's very niche, when it does they're actually using that build against your team, it's gonna make that huge of a difference to the point where even though it's that niche, I like to have it, okay? Because the flame is not as niche. Like you can use this to make the break away the grabs from buy weapons on the other survivors, so it's pretty good too. But I personally just like to go to Signal Jammer, but pretty much all of them are good here for him. I like to go Signal Jammer because it's more meta in the sense that if you happen to get the hardest of builds, this would make more of a difference, okay, on those actual hard matches. Now, in the life hacks section here, I use again, like I mentioned, the reinforce to combo with this guy for the Kashima in case we face a Daniel, and Tyrone is not in the team. If Tyrone is in the team, like with that build that I showed you, you totally wouldn't need this. You can totally, put a spray here or, a EMP like I mentioned for Val, so you can help be kind of a gen with the shotgun on the cameras if you're playing Nikolai, for example. You'll be more ready to play Nikolai, for example. That's what I mean. But like I mentioned, these two are also good. Bulletproof would be more Nikolai focus, and Gas Mask would be more Alex focus. Reinforced would be more Daniel focus. So you kind of have to pick one. Some people swear by this, the flashing thing cancels the burrow. I don't think that's necessary because most of the time, like if you're flashing the zombies, you're already going to be ignoring them, or killing them while they're stunned. So why would you even bother with the buff? Just flash them, do the objective, and get out. And they're there. They're not faster than you, so I think that's kind of not that useful. And finally, we're using the EOD suit on the sapper here. I think it's the best one because it's not that useful, but you might as well have it. Just gives you a bit of a speed bonus. It's actually pretty good. Like if you need speed for whatever reason, especially if you're using the makeshift mine and you're playing a match that is not that useful, you can just use this for the speed alone. Okay, when you get it, and you do get a bit of extra reduce damage there, as you can see. But the speed is actually worth it. Okay, like you do get a lot of speed. You can kind of cross the map a lot faster when you pop this. He's a slow character as well, Martin. So it is also a counter to one of his weaknesses. And besides that, I mean, as you can see, he's more of a support character, but I would say he's the worst because he's kind of the least useful. Tyrone can pretty much already do everything that he does. So like, and he has a lot more better stuff with him. So why bother? So yeah, guys, those are the, again, top 1, top 2, top 3, top 4, top 5, top 6, and top 7 worst in the game. Now he's still pretty useful. Don't get me wrong, but in comparison to the others, I just think he's the worst. Okay. And the top best team in the game would be Samuel, Tyrone, Valerie, and January. Specifically with the builds that I showed here, I would say you're kind of ready for every single mastermind and every single build in the game that you can kind of face. Okay. And if you're the only thing, like these two are pretty much mandatory. Valerie and Jen, they have to be like every match. The other two you can kind of switch around more if you don't want to just play them all the time. Like Samuel, if you're more of a Becca guy, it's fine. You can play the damage role with Becca if that's more kin to you. You're not forced to play Samuel. I just think Samuel is better. Okay, he's better, but you're not forced to play him. You can still make it work with Becca, but Samuel is better. And Tyrone's the same thing. Like you could go for the Martin if you don't like Tyrone, but Tyrone would still be better. Okay, and yeah, and you have Jill and Martin. I would say these two are kind of. Again, these two have roles. Valerie and Jen have roles that cannot be replaced. Okay, so that's why I say they have to be mandatory in the game, and they're top 2. They cannot be replaced by any other survivor. Now, like Samuel can be replaced by Becca and Jill. Okay, so in the damage role, and Tyrone can be replaced for Martin, for example. Okay, and if you wanted to, like you could go no damage, like go with no damage character, have Tyrone there and Martin together, for example. Okay, or you can also go without Tyrone and have 2 damage, like Samuel and Becca, besides Valerie and Jen, and then you're even more, but you're kind of more focusing towards the net build, for example. That's kind of heavy creature based. But having these 4 together, Valerie, Jen, Tyrone, Samuel, you're pretty much ready for everything in the game. Okay. So yeah, guys, let's finish it here. I think it lasted more than an hour, but that's the tier list for survivors, the best builds that makes them that higher in the tier, the whys, the whats, and the hows. And yeah, just feel free to check my gameplays if you want to see all of this I'm mentioning in action. And yeah, guys, see you guys in the next one. Comment below if you want to discuss a little more. Tell me your opinion on it. And like the video if you want to see more of this. And I'm going to be making a tier list for Masterminds and for the maps as well coming up next. See you guys. you guys later.